It's the Poker Show with Jesse May.
Deep in the second week of the World Series of Poker, timing is important. It's all about 11:30. Why? 11:30 a.m. You better be in line to register. 12 hours later, it's 11:30 again. And if you're lucky, you're still at the table getting paid. Yesterday was the Omaha event. Pot limit Omaha. 4 cards, a bit too many for some of these newbies. But you know what? It's the World Series of Poker. You're watching The Poker Show. Joining me, as always, my friend, Padraig Parkinson. Padraig, great show today. TJ Cloutier, Paul Phillips, giants of the game. But you played the Omaha yesterday. Did you learn anything?
I did. I learned, there's a pawn shop in Las Vegas. In fact, there's lots of pawn shops in Las Vegas. But in one particular pawn shop, there's a World Series of Poker bracelet for sale for $1,700. Now, that might sound expensive, but I'll tell you, this morning it looks like a hell of a bargain to some of the guys that tried to buy one in the Omaha tournament yesterday.
Omaha, a bit of a funny game. We thought we'd try and catch up with some of the giants to find out what's the secret of Omaha. Here's what Dan Harrington had to say.
Well, I'll tell you my secret. I don't play it anymore. That's my secret. I could never even, it's hard to even figure out what your hand is, never mind what your bet should be or whether you should call or not. I have trouble just figuring out what the hand is in that game.
So, Dan doesn't like to put his money in bad spots, but maybe Omaha's a European game. Asher Derei, he's a top player. What's his secret to Omaha?
The main secret is how to adjust the pot. In pot limit Omaha, you can make something that you can't make in no limit. You can adjust the pot. You can decide if the pot will be big or small. It's the only secret in the game.
Well, Bart, Asher in Omaha.
Well, Scott Gray's secret to pot limit Omaha was to follow Asher around at the World Series of Poker and playing the game he was in. But
Bart, big day today. TJ Cloutier.
Yeah, well, TJ is one of my poker heroes. His record is just incredible. I mean, in 50 years' time, people will look back and they'll just look at his record and all. But, the reason I respect TJ so much, it's got nothing to do with the record. I mean, like great champions behave like great champions, and TJ just sets the mark for everybody. In 2000, when TJ and Chris Ferguson played for the title, they were practically level in chips. Chris Ferguson at ace-9, TJ at ace-queen, and they got it all in before the flop. I mean, it looked like TJ was going to win the title. On the river, Chris hit a 9. That was it. Chris was world champion, TJ was second. Then all the journalists came in, and they flocked around TJ, and they all wanted to know what he thought about the hand. And TJ just pointed at Chris Ferguson and said, listen, it's his day. He's won the world championship. Go talk to him. I mean, it takes a great guy to be able to do that. Some of these guys, they'll be there whinging about it for all time, but TJ just took it like a man. That's what's great about the game.
Well, we're going to get to talk to him. Can't say how excited I am. He's been at 4 World Series of Poker final tables. He's won more poker tournament titles than anybody in the history of the game. Please welcome TJ Cloutier.
Hi, TJ.
TJ, you wrote the book that for many years was considered the only thing worthwhile reading about tournament no limit hold'em. Is the book still valid today? Have you had to change your strategy?
I don't think you have to change anything. It's just kind of basic tournament strategy, and there's some advanced stuff in there if you pick it up. But if you read it the first time, you probably won't see it, but if you go back through it, you'll see things that you missed.
I'll just read the bit that says, and TJ says. I'm not supposed to say that.
But it's done real good. We're, I think, in the 11th reprint. And it was sold, Cardsmith Publishing sold it to Cardozo Publishing, and now it's...
Well, because, I mean, a lot of guys have written books on poker, but for a long time, nobody was talking about tournaments, how to win at tournaments. Yeah. And you were really one of the first, with your record and everything.
Well, my main, Tom and I did this, Tom McAvoy and I did this book together. And when we did it, that's when No Limit and Pot Limit were kind of going down. We were, Omaha was taking over in those days. And so we wanted to kind of revitalize No Limit, and then of course we got a shot in the arm with the World Poker Tour going on TV and everything, and it just picked right back up. But when we did the book, we wanted to be conversational. where Sklansky's book has all the, excuse me, statistics. My plate got stuck, but we figured everybody that can play the game knows what
well,
the
Sklansky hasn't
percentages
won
are.
too many titles, has he?
Well, I don't know. He's actually doing pretty good in the last year. But I figured they already knew all that stuff, so that we wanted to say things that you could understand right away, although there's a lot of good stuff in there.
You've been playing poker a long time, TJ. Now everybody's playing on the internet. You're on there as well, and you're involved with Poker Mountain.
Right. Poker Mountain, we're retooling right now. We're going to relaunch in sometime in July, and it should be real good because it's got the right people behind it. And
But Diego Cordovez, who everybody, he won a World Series of Poker bracelet.
right,
well.
and he is the president of the company, and just a super nice guy, and they'll do anything they can to help people, you know, on the support and everyone you write in your emails and stuff. And they're taking it slow. They're in no hurry. They're when it comes out and they start all the multi-tournaments and all this stuff, they want them to be right. Tired of these things crashing all the time.
TJ, 4 World Series of Poker final tables. You got all these tournaments. What do you think people are gonna? How do you want to go down in history, as far as poker goes?
Well, I hope they think I could play.
I think they know that already, TJ.
I don't know. I just want to.
Which is the most memorable final table for you?
Most memorable. Boy, I guess the first one was Bill Smith, because Bill Smith and I used to play in Dallas together all the time. In fact, I used to stake him in the games in Dallas all the time, in the no-limit games.
That's how we paid you back.
Well, he paid me back a little differently. His wife was working at Mitsubishi Aircraft, and I went on a blind date, the only blind date I've ever been on in my life, and I ended up marrying the girl, and we've been together 21 years now. So that was all from Bill Smith.
So you don't hold it against him.
So he's got your title.
So,
You got joy.
I got joy. And
Was the World Series new to you back then? I mean, was that one of the
that
first?
was the third one I played in. Yeah, the third World Series, the big one. I'd already won a title in Limit Omaha by then. In fact, I won a title in all 3 of the Omaha events: the Limit, 8 or better, and pot limit.
5
Omaha.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know.
Well, you're doing a lot of teaching. You also got some DVDs that are out now. Poker
Right.
Insights, I think.
Yes, and in fact, we're going to have a booth at the World Series here this year, and I think they're going to do real well because of the people involved. Ted Forrest is there, and Barry Greenstein, and Min the Master, Tom Franklin, Greg Raymer, the world champion, and Warren Karp is the narrator. And it's I've looked them over, and I think they're real good.
Well, we want to talk more about this year's World Series a little
Okay.
later when you're back with Paul. But I don't even know if it's worth testing you, TJ, because I mean nobody has got nerves of steel like you. But we've got something we call the knee trembler. It's a
Okay.
little putt upstairs. Are you willing to see how your
Well,
nerves
sure,
hold up?
sure.
I know you've been an athlete all your life. I mean, professional.
Can you
football
use your
player.
putter, huh?
All right. In part 2, we'll get to talk to Paul Phillips. Off the wall, we'll have a lot more. But let's see how TJ gets on with that knee trembler.
The knee trembler.